So wait a second here. They had investors investing in their company, and then, like, in the back room, they were really testing patients' blood with regular machines, like not Theranos machines. That, yeah. So, yeah. Wow. This is the United States of America versus Elizabeth Holmes and Ramesh Balwani. This is the Theranos indictment. Theranos? I think it's Theranos. The grand jury charges that at all relevant times, a defendant, Elizabeth A. Holmes, resided in Los Altos Hills, California, and owned and operated a healthcare and life sciences company called Theranos, Inc. Holmes founded Theranos in 2003 and served in the role of Chief Executive Officer from 2003 through present. The defendant, Ramesh Balwani, resided in Atherton, California, was an employee of Theranos September 2009 through 2016. He served as a member of its board of directors, its president, and its chief operating officer at various times. Theranos was a private healthcare and life sciences company. Its stated mission was to revolutionize medical laboratory testing through allegedly innovative methods for drawing blood, testing blood, and interpreting the resulting patient data, all for the purpose of improving outcomes and lowering healthcare costs. During its first 10 years, from approximately 2003 to 2013, Theranos operated in what Holmes called stealth mode, with little public attention. While operating in stealth mode, Theranos pursued the development of proprietary technology that could run clinical tests using only tiny droplets of blood instead of the vials typically drawn from an arm vein for traditional analysis. Theranos also worked to develop a method for drawing only a few drops of capillary blood from a patient's finger using a small lancet and collecting and storing that blood in a proprietary device called the nanotainer. Theranos' stated goal was to produce a second proprietary device that could quickly and accurately analyze blood samples collected in nanotainers. Theranos referred to these devices using several terms, including TSPU, Theranos Sample Processing Unit, Edison, or Minilab. In or around 2013, Theranos began to publicize its technological advances. According to Theranos, its proprietary methods and technologies carried several advantages over conventional blood testing. For example, Theranos claimed that its laboratory infrastructure yielded test results in less time than conventional labs, requiring hours instead of days. Theranos claimed that its proprietary technology and methods would minimize the risk of human error and generate results with the highest accuracy. According to Theranos, the small blood sample size required for Theranos' proprietary tests and its method of collecting blood by fingerstick would also benefit elderly individuals with collapsed veins, individuals who required frequent blood tests due to chronic health conditions, and any individual who feared needles. In addition, Theranos claimed that its blood tests provided substantial cost savings, advertising that it billed all of the tests on the Medicare Clinical Laboratory Fee Schedule at rates 50% or more below the published reimbursement rate. Prior to its commercial launch, Holmes heavily promoted Theranos' supposed technological and operational capabilities. In a September 2013 press release, Theranos claimed that it had eliminated the need for larger needles and numerous vials of blood by relying instead on samples taken from a tiny fingerstick or a microsample taken from traditional methods. In another press release dated November 13, 2013, Theranos touted its use of blood samples as small as a few drops, 1/1000th the size of a typical blood draw. In that same statement, the company again declared that it had eliminated the need for large needles and numerous vials of blood typically required for diagnostic lab testing. In addition to directing the actions of the company, Holmes also made statements to the media advertising the capabilities of Theranos technology. In an interview for a Wall Street Journal article published on September 9, 2013, Holmes said that Theranos could run any combination of tests, including sets of follow-on tests, at once, very quickly, all from a single small blood sample. Theranos also used its website to increase awareness of its technology. On its website, Theranos displayed a nanotainer of blood balancing on a fingertip along with the slogan, "One tiny drop changes everything." The website also assured visitors that, for the first time, Theranos' laboratory could perform tests quickly and accurately on samples as small as a single drop. So that's a pretty remarkable claim, and it would definitely change the entire blood testing industry if you no longer needed small vials of blood and instead could do samples by taking a drop of blood, putting it into a small container like a nanotainer or whatever, which somehow preserves it appropriately, and then sending that to the lab. I guess that would mean things for patients, and patients would probably get better care because they would need to give less blood. I'm guessing that's all a good thing. As part of its commercial launch, Theranos pursued a partnership with national pharmacy chain Walgreens. On September 9th, 2013, Theranos announced that it would be rolling out Theranos wellness centers inside Walgreens retail locations. In a press release on that date, Theranos promoted its testing services by stating that consumers can now complete any clinician-directed lab test with as little as a few drops of blood and results available in a matter of hours. Theranos offered tests to the public beginning in late 2013 through its wellness centers located in Walgreens stores in Palo Alto, California, and Phoenix, Arizona, and surrounding areas. The scheme to defraud investors. From a time unknown but no later than 2013 through 15, Holmes and Balwani and others known and unknown to the grand jury through their company Theranos engaged in a scheme, plan, and artifice to defraud investors as to a material matter and to obtain money and property by means of materially false and fraudulent pretenses, representations, and promises. Beginning in approximately 2013, they made materially false and misleading statements to investors that, at the time of the statements, Theranos' proprietary analyzer, the TSPU Edison or Minilab, was presently capable of accomplishing certain tasks, such as performing the full range of clinical tests using small blood samples drawn from a finger stick and producing results that were more accurate and reliable than those yielded by conventional methods at a faster speed than previously possible. In truth, they knew that Theranos' proprietary analyzer had accuracy and reliability problems, performed a limited number of tests, was slower than some competing devices, could not compete with larger conventional machines in high throughput, or the simultaneous testing of blood from many patients or applications. They represented to investors that Theranos was presently a financially strong and stable company, including that Theranos would generate over $100 million in revenues and break even in 2014, and that Theranos expected to generate approximately $1 billion in revenue in 2015, when, in truth, they knew that Theranos had and would generate only modest revenues, roughly a few $100,000 in 2014 and in 2015. They deceived investors through misleading technology demonstrations intended to cause potential investors to believe that blood tests were being conducted on Theranos' proprietary analyzer when, in truth, Holmes and Balwani knew that Theranos' proprietary analyzer was running a null protocol or demonstration to make the analyzer appear to be operating, but was not testing the potential investor's blood, and yet failed to disclose that fact. They represented to investors that Theranos presently had an expanding partnership with Walgreens. That is, Theranos would soon dramatically increase the number of wellness centers within Walgreens stores when, in truth, they knew that by late 2014, Theranos' retail Walgreens rollout had stalled because of several issues, including that Walgreens executives had concerns with the performance of the machines. They represented to investors that Theranos presently had a profitable and revenue-generating business relationship with the United States Department of Defense, and that Theranos' technology had deployed to the battlefield when, in truth, Theranos had limited revenue from military contracts and its technology was not deployed in the battlefield. They represented to investors that the FDA did not need to approve its proprietary analyzer and tests, but instead that Theranos was applying for FDA approval voluntarily because it was the gold standard, when in truth Holmes and Balwani knew that the FDA was requiring Theranos to apply for clearance or approval for its analyzer and tests. They represented to investors that Theranos conducted its patients' tests using Theranos manufactured analyzers when in truth they knew that Theranos purchased and used for patient testing third-party, commercially available analyzers. So wait a second here. They had investors investing in their company, and then in the back room they were really testing patients' blood with regular machines, not Theranos machines. Wow. That's some kind of trademark violation too, by the way, because you've now violated the source of a good or service. You've counterfeited basically the source of a good or service. You've said you're performing, this well, because of your own good or service, but you're actually using a competitor's good or service. So you're infringing on their trademark and the competition between you two. They represented to investors that Theranos technology had been examined, used, and validated by several national or multinational pharmaceutical companies and research institutions. In fact, they knew that these pharmaceutical companies had not examined, used, or validated their technology. They are presented to members of the media for publication many of the false and misleading statements described above, knowing their statements to the members of the media were false and misleading. And after receiving false and misleading statements, etc., 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 persons known to the grand jury as investors 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 initiated electronic wire transfers for the purpose of investing money in Theranos. These wires, specifically alleged in paragraph 24, use a domestic electronic funds transfer system known as the FedWire system, which is owned and operated by the Federal Reserve. Between 2013 and 2016, Holmes and Balwani, through advertisements and solicitations, encouraged and induced doctors and patients to use their laboratory testing services. They devised a scheme to defraud doctors and patients through explicit and implicit claims that they were fast, reliable, cheap blood tests. Based on these representations, many hundreds of patients paid or caused their insurance to pay Theranos or Walgreens, acting on behalf of Theranos, for blood tests and test results, sometimes following referrals from their defrauded doctors. Despite representing to doctors and patients that Theranos could provide such tests, they knew the technology was not capable of consistently producing accurate and reliable results, including calcium chloride, potassium bicarbonate, HIV, HbA1c, HCG, and sodium. Despite their knowledge of Theranos' accuracy and reliability problems, they used interstate electronic wires to purchase advertisements intended to induce individuals to purchase Theranos blood tests at Walgreens stores in California and Arizona. Through these advertisements, Holmes and Balwani explicitly represented to individuals that Theranos' blood tests were cheaper than blood tests from conventional laboratories to induce individuals to purchase Theranos' blood tests. Holmes and Balwani held Theranos' blood tests out to individuals as accurate and reliable. So they are charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud against Theranos investors. Elizabeth Holmes and Ramesh Sunny Balwani and others known and unknown to the grand jury did knowingly and intentionally conspire and agree together and with each other to commit wire fraud by devising a scheme and artifice to defraud as to a material matter and to obtain money by means of materially false and fraudulent representations, specifically by soliciting investments through making the false and fraudulent representations set forth in this indictment. So, conspiracy to commit wire fraud against doctors and Theranos in the same sort of thing, specifically by soliciting, encouraging, or otherwise inducing doctors to refer and patients to pay for its laboratory and blood testing services under the false and fraudulent pretenses that Theranos technology produced reliable and accurate blood test results. Wire fraud. Here are the amounts: $100,000, $5 million, $5 million, $40 million, $100 million, $6 million.
Did you want an update on the bail situation?
Go for it. What's the update on the bail situation?
Holmes and Balwani surrendered to the FBI. They were released on $500,000 bond each, and they were ordered to surrender their passports when they were released. So clearly they're not meant to leave the country as well.
Yeah, they're out on bail, basically. Oh, they also wired patients' blood results in violation of wire fraud law. They have been asked to forfeit the following property: a sum of money equal to the amount of proceeds obtained. Upon a conviction. Upon a conviction, they shall forfeit property. Okay, that's what that says. So, holy mackerel. So when you see that in the news, when you see people talking about the Theranos investors being defrauded and the patients being defrauded, and this 34-year-old woman, Elizabeth Holmes, I want to look up her picture because she's younger than me. I'm like, not that means anything anymore. I mean, people are people. And then you can see that's what Elizabeth Holmes looks like. An investor and former entrepreneur, she is indicted for wire fraud. She is the founder and CEO of Theranos. She was named as the youngest self-made female billionaire due to the $9 billion valuation of Theranos. The next year, Forbes revised the valuation of her interest in Theranos to 0, given an updated $800 million valuation of Theranos, and the fact that many of Theranos investors hold preferred shares, and they would be paid before she would. Yep, Mziora has a point. If you owe $100, that's your problem. If you owe $1 billion, that's their problem. How they're never going to get $1 billion out of her. Whatever money, unless she goes on to invent like the cure for cancer and then sells it for $9 billion and gives that money back to the investors, like, you know what I mean? Like there's going to have to be some other remarkable thing. There's otherwise nothing here. There's nothing to get at unless she is also independently wealthy, which I'm not looking into. I don't really care to do that. Thank you very much to our sponsors. This channel would not be possible without your support. Thank you to all of our Patreon sponsors, and thank you to all the Twitch subscribers as well. You can go to patreon.com/ljfrench if you'd like to learn more about becoming a Patreon sponsor. Thank you very much to Kareem Harper, who is still sponsoring us at the $500 level in June here. Thank you very much, Kareem. I'm going to be in touch with you about our investigative report and your perspective on the Cambridge Analytica situation. And thank you to our $50 plus supporters, Jonathon Doe, DJ Gilcrease, John Steele, Gavin Barnard, Eevi, Andy, Kyle Mudrak, Sean McNamara, Verement, Tayne, Johnny Andersen, Michael Pearce, and William Gonzalez. Your support at the $50 level really helps us out, helps keep us with a budget to be able to do this work every month. Thank you very, very, very much. And thank you very much to the $5 plus supporters who are scrolling on the LED panel behind me and will be on the screen for any of the VODs that we produce with this footage. There are 216 plus of you, I think, and it absolutely floors me every time I go and paste all of these names into the YouTube VODs and all that. So thank you very much for joining me, all of you. Look forward to the new videos this week, which will be the Lexmark case with DJ Gilcrease's request and the Jamie Walton interview, as that collaboration needs to get out in a timely fashion. And then I'll be working on all the other things, including Cambridge Analytica and a million more stories that just keep coming, because it's that kind of world. They just keep coming and coming and going and coming and going, and there's never really an end to this we didn't start the fire kind of turning and burning of the world. So, Nico. Let's get Nico back up here for a goodbye. Hop. Good boy. Are you looking for more treats? Is that what this is? Is this all about treats? How about me? When is it about me? And you, huh? How about us? How are we doing? Are we good? Are you my favorite dog? You're my favorite boy dog. How about that? I'll put it that way. You're my favorite boy dog. I love you very much. Can you say goodbye? Can you say goodbye so we can let all the people go get to their Sunday afternoon stuff? I don't know why I said Tuesday. So thank you very much for joining me. Love you all. I am Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney, and I'll see you in the VODs that drop and on next Sunday's live show. Love you all. Bye.